All right, so here's how this is gonna work. I've got a vacuum pump, a containment vessel, and a straw at the end of a tube. The vacuum pump will pull air out of this, which will then come through this straw. We stick the straw into the tomato, and it acts just like Jamie's mouth, sucking the tomato juice out.
Oh.
That's vigorous.
That's actually pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's coming.
All right. I think that's more than a human could get out, which we then weigh in this cup and determine exactly what percentage of juice we got out by detonating a blast cap near the tomato. 60. This works out beautifully. 180-gram tomato, we got 60 grams of juice. That's exactly 1/3. That is 30% of the tomato in juice. That's half of what you get out of an industrial juicer, but that's a lot more than I thought we'd get. I actually believe that we are drifting dangerously into plausible territory here. In fact, after all this blasting, I'm not sure where we could go from here.
Yes, using a precisely calibrated explosive charge, it's possible to juice the inside of a tomato. And there really is only one place to go from here. In patented Mythbusters style, is bigger better?
I think we need more explosives. Welcome back. All episode long, we've been attempting to replicate a viral video we found, which seems to show that a small amount of explosives can turn a tomato into a tomato juice dispenser. That is, that it can turn the inside of a tomato to liquid you can drink while not damaging the outside. And astonishingly, we seem to have determined that this is actually true. Now, of course, it's Mythbusters, so where a small amount of explosives seems to work pretty well, a large amount of explosives ought to work a lot better.
This time around, we're going to be using 20 pounds of TNT. Nice. Nice and peaceful out here. At least right now it is. And that's going to create a much larger and more powerful pressure wave. So in theory, that should do a better job of creating more juice.
The blasting cap yield was 30%. To attempt to maximize the juice, they're scaling up the explosion energy by a factor of 10,000.
All right, let's double check our supplies. We got mesh bags, check. Oranges, check. Cucumbers, check. Tomatoes, wrapped, check. Pineapples, check. 20 pounds of TNT. Let's make some fruit juice.
While Adam and Jamie know a tomato works, the video also shows a variety of fruit and veg being satisfactorily slurped. So, to find out if this juicing technique really is that flexible, they're covering their bases.
Let's start attaching them to the buoys.
Finally, without knowing the ideal distance for this sized explosion,
That's the 2-footer.
each bag is placed under the surface
There's the 5-footer.
at staggered intervals.
There's the 10.
The blasting cap has an explosive energy of 3,640 joules. 20 pounds of TNT has 37 megajoules. Will the larger amplitude blast wave be more effective? We're about to find out.
Doesn't it look beautiful?
Yeah, it's perfect.
All right, Captain, back to shore. Let me explain our methodology, although I think it's pretty straightforward. At the 3 orange buoys at the end of that line, we are going to hang 20 pounds of explosives 10 feet down. At each of the numbered markers is hanging a bag of fruit about 5 feet down.
Okay, large-scale fruit smoothie
We're going to set off those explosives,
in 3,
retrieve what fruit we can,
2,
and find out how juicy the explosives made it.
1.
Whoa!
Uh-oh. Yeah, that was a little more energetic than I thought.
More energetic, and at 8,000.